Hi, my name is Robert. Please read the comments in the About section of this video. It has valuable information and updates. My YouTube channel has a disclaimer video that I encourage you to watch. And please like, share, and subscribe. I hope you found what you're looking for. Thank you very much for watching. Okay, work day 2 on the giveaway vehicle. We're going to start by disposing of the oil and taking a look at it after it's come through the motor with a blown head gasket. You know, this whole blown head gasket deal just really kind of confuses me. I don't understand. First of all, if you're losing coolant, you know you're running the risk of blowing a head gasket and you need to stop, get it fixed. You know, that's just number one. Number two, when you see your temperature gauge rising, I promise you, a tow is always cheaper than a motor. And in a lot of cases, a blown motor is going to cost you your car, because if you can't afford to get a coolant leak fixed, you surely can't afford to get the motor rebuilt. So that's another thing. Another thing is, once you mix coolant in your oil, if you're trying to make it somewhere with your head gasket blown or your car overheated, now you're pumping contaminated oil through your motor. You're pumping coolant through your rings, through your engine block, and God forbid you have a turbo. Now you're pumping contaminated oil that could be mixed with a lot of coolant through your turbo, and probably going to tear your turbo up. If this is getting past your head gasket and blowing out your exhaust, now you're about to destroy a catalytic converter. So you got a blown motor, bad turbo, and a bad catalytic converter. It's just, most cases the car is not worth it. So I just want to, encourage you guys that if you see a car about to overheat, just shut it down. It's not worth all the damage you're going to do by driving. And there you have it, the contaminated oil that was drained out of the oil pan. So all of that stuff, when you try to start the car to move it or drive it home or whatever, all of that stuff is being pumped through the entire oil system of the motor. So that's what the coolant, antifreeze, water, oil mix looks like. Okay, as I said in my video yesterday, it appears that this head was replaced once, so I'm probably not going to try to salvage this head. I'm going to donate it to a mechanic or something like that. So let me go ahead and finish taking this head off, which from this point I need to take all the bolts off the cam cover, take all the exhaust studs out of the exhaust, and take a couple of things off of the passenger side, like the cam sensor. I'm probably going to take this stuff off the end of the rotor and stuff too, since I have a new rotor and I will need to get the seals over the end of the cam. So let me go ahead and finish pulling this off and pick back up from there. Alright, I finally got the cam cover off. As you can see, there's hardly no sealant on there. It had this gray stuff, which is probably some high temp silicone, improper stuff on there. I normally see more oil up here, but that's no big deal. And somebody had a surprise for me. The water pipe on the back of the head was put in with these things instead of the hex bolts. I think they got those bolts mixed up with the cam bolts, because that cam sensor was on with some regular 10 millimeters. So I was kind of afraid that this sealant that they used to seal the head cam cover on was not going to let me get it off, but it did break free relatively easy. I had a couple exhaust manifold nuts loose off of the studs, so one of them was improper, so I'll get that stuff. So anyway, I'm about to break these head bolts loose and pull this head out, so hopefully that'll go smooth. I broke the head bolts loose. Some were tight, some weren't so tight, but I'm going to try to drain the radiator, see if there's any coolant in the vehicle before I go ahead and lift that head off. Looks like nice clear water coming out of the radiator, so somebody was probably playing coolant roulette, and fluid was not mixing back into the coolant system, which is good. It was only mixing into the oil. Got the head off. As you can see, the gasket had some pitting areas in there, so it was probably overheated. Looks like a Falmar head gasket, whatever you call them. Who knows? It could be Victor rings, I don't know. But it was mostly leaking in that number 4 cylinder there. I'm about to wrap it up for today. I got the block just about clean. I'm about to check it for trueness. I'm going to use a metal level and then a metal ruler and check it for warpage. But I noticed in here there's some weird deposit. My guess is somebody was using some kind of stuff to try to stop the head gasket. The stuff was not hard, so hopefully it didn't plug nothing up in the motor. Also, I dropped a piece of metal down the bolt holes to check for coolant, and I did find some that were about half filled with water, so I rolled up a piece of paper towel like this, slid it down the holes until they got all the way to the bottom, absorbed all of the moisture out of the holes. So I'm going to go ahead and wipe this up and clean it with the acetone and then check it for trueness, and I'll be done for today. I'm getting late for me. While you're in here, you want to check your exhaust manifold, make sure it's not cracked. You also want to check your water connection port there, clean that off. And this block needs to be cleaned of any old gasket material. It does not need to be a spotless, clean surface like the cam does, cam cover and the top of the head does, because you don't have any liquid gasket sealer for this. It's a actual gasket part that will seal this. So you want to make sure you got all of the old gasket material scraped off. It's okay if it's stained like you see here. It don't need to be spotless, but you don't want any gasket material left on there that will stop the new gasket from making a seal. Aluminum level I had was too long to fit in here, so I'm going to use this metal ruler here and check for gap under it with the filler gauge that way. Then I'm going to flip it upside down just to make sure that this is true. It's not bowed in one direction. So I'll check a few places on this block for flat and trueness before I lay that new head gasket down and bolt the new head on. I took a filler gauge, 0.005, which is 0.127 millimeter. I could not get that under any portion of that ruler on that block, so I'm gonna say the block is true. I'm gonna go find a couple of exhaust studs and get those on hand so I can put this replacement head on tomorrow. Thanks for watching. If you feel that this information was useful, please like it and share it with your social media friends. You can subscribe to my channel so that you will get notifications of future videos that I post. You can follow me on Twitter, and if you need to contact me directly, please visit my website. And if you have any questions, leave them below, and someone or myself will reply to them. Again, thank you very much for watching.